phone volume is up.
Let me go fix that. That is funny.
And good morning, eh?
Good morning, eh?
Here you go, live shot of John, so you finally get to see me.
I mean, it's a very Wilson shot.
It is
Got
kind
a home
of,
improvement.
let me just look over the fence here. Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Good. You know what's weird about this? Like, normally I'm sitting down and staring at a screen, and I'm like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
What do I do with my
Yeah,
arms?
they just kind of flop around.
Nah, I got stuff to do with them. So we've been making jokes about this for quite a while. So I happen to be back in town visiting. So we figured we'd get together and I would actually make the cream chip beef that I've talked about before. I have not made this recipe in probably 5 to 7 years, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually really excited to see how it turns out.
I'm really hoping it turns out well because I'm hungry. I chose not to eat breakfast this morning.
I have also eaten absolutely nothing. So here we go. So my grandfather used to do this recipe when I was growing up. He passed away probably 7, 8 years ago now. And I know that this recipe is going to be slightly different than other recipes I've seen. But really the only change is a minced onion that he does before he makes the roux.
The roux. This term I'm unfamiliar with.
It's just when you cook butter and flour, because you don't really want to use raw flour. So I start by chopping up the onion. You got one of those glass ones.
That's not the one that I use most often, but it was there and you adopted it, so there it is.
I don't know what's where. Also, this apron is interesting. Is it like a wine apron?
Yes.
I do like wine.
You feel free to whine if you want.
I will whine about everything.
Whine all you want.
I realize that I don't mind chopping onions because I like using the tears to tell my wife that I love her. But
Or to feign that you have empathy.
Yeah, to act like I'm a real human being with emotions. But
Sure.
the thing that I don't care for is peeling an onion. The chopping is fine. This one has a little bit of schmutz on the side.
All right, who just Frederick Navarro has joined us. He wants to know what's cooking. Well, of course.
Cream chip beef.
Cream chipped beef.
Always cream chip beef.
I will type that. Frederick, you're the first person to respond. So is the audio and the video all coming across properly? Does it look all right on the tube of the U? That's my question.
I assume that I'm probably louder than you because the mic's right here. I don't know which camera you're on. Chop cam? You want chop cam?
No, I was a moment ago. You want to?
Oh, some sweet chop cam action.
There you go.
I gotta say, John really set up. I mean, it's hilarious looking if you stare at cameras perched precariously on inside of cabinets. But you did a fun job setting it all up. I appreciate it.
You know what's hilarious though, Dave?
What?
Is the camera to your left, the chop cam, if you will, is the first camera I set up.
Really?
And then I went around and did a whole bunch of things to, organize the kitchen for you and everything. And then I went back and the camera was like it wouldn't connect. I just couldn't see anything. It said it was there, but I couldn't see anything. I worked on it for 5 minutes before I looked up and saw that I had closed the cabinet.
I love everything about that.
I'm like, oh, I did that. That's
I'll
a
do one more.
fade to black slam. Fun.
So he was not obsessed with chopping things. And he would usually leave the onions thicker than I prefer them. Because I like the onions to almost disappear.
I went too far. I'm trying to get the cutting board shot, and I chose the chip beef video again. Sorry about that, guys. I'm kind of new at this live video. Well, not new, but I haven't done it in 40 some odd years. Live video.
Man, I don't love the glass cutting board. What's your favorite cutting board?
I have these plastic silicone ones. They're in one of these drawers that you block by the trash can.
That seems like a thing that I would do.
Yeah.
You might grab me one?
Okay, Steve.
I think I'm going to transfer to it because I'm not getting a good mince. I like a good mince.
And
Thank you. You know, the best part of this is, John, is that I'm just gonna throw little onions all over your kitchen and leave.
Awesome. I actually, when I cook, I use a onion chopper, like a pampered chef device.
Oh, you have what, a slap chop or whatever it is?
Yeah, where's that? This thing right here.
What is this? It is a slap chopper. I mean, it's a different brand name, but well, now I feel like I want to try it.
Well, you got half an onion there.
It's on principle. I'm just gonna cut my onions.
That's a lot faster, man. The downside is you don't have the crying. You don't get to pretend that you have a heart.
Don't you worry, I'm getting there.
Hmm.
I don't know how this thing comes apart, that's for sure.
Frederick says, be careful, he did hotellerie school in Montreal. Hotellerie?
Is that a thing? Is that like culinary?
Frederick is making stuff up. I think he just made up a word. See, he's French Canadian, so he can make up words, and we just go, oh wow, that's cool.
I wouldn't know enough to correct anyone, and half the time, depending on what you're saying, I don't care enough to correct anyone.
Fair enough. Frederick is also hungry.
Well, that's fair.
Frederick, have you had cream chip beef? That's the next question.
Now we're gonna do this delightful thing where I put just a whole stick of butter into this pan.
A whole stick of butter.
Yeah, I realized that I got way too much chipped beef, so we're just gonna have leftovers.
There's no such thing as too much cream chip beef. The other day I cooked a pound of bacon, and within 24 hours it was gone.
24 hours. That lasted a while. A pound of bacon is not that much food.
It's not, but you know, the original purpose of the bacon was to go with your 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, 3 pancakes, and what else was it? 2 eggs, 3. It was 2 omelets, 2 egg omelets, and 3 pancakes and the bacon. So there's really a lot left, but I sat it out and nibbled on it from time to time throughout the day.
I don't love pancakes. I think of all of the breakfast breads, I would prefer French toast followed by waffle followed by pancake.
Well, French toast is
Better?
pancakes with holes in it, isn't it? In French toast.
You talking about waffles?
No, pancakes. I mean, on French toast is pancakes with holes.
French toast doesn't have holes. I think you're confused. I'm talking about waffle.
No, French. If it's made of toast, it's sponge-like. It
Oh,
has
sponge-like.
it has a lot
All
of
right.
air in it, where
I'll
pancakes
give you
are
sponge-like.
more cake-like. Stop arguing with me, dude.
Never! Alright, so I've minced my onion.
All right, I'm going back to the wide side here for a moment, so people can see your what you call it, your posterior, your.
That's not what I called it officially.
No, it isn't.
Called the butt cam.
Whew. John,
Buddy, I'm just so happy to be here.
yeah.
Never waste a tear from an onion. Always tell someone you love them.
Yeah.
Alright, what do we got over here? Ooh,
What do
wooden
you have?
spoon. That's what I'm into. Oh, look at the wide base of this wooden spoon. That's fun.
It's a beaut, isn't it?
She's
I got
a-
some tools.
She's a beaut. Alright, I'm doing this on the further away burner because we realized the other burner you can't see here, so I also have to do everything further away, I
A
guess.
little extra leaning. It's not, what is it, 6 inches, Dave?
That's a lot, John. 6 inches
It's not
is
a lot, Dave.
huge.
It's not a lot.
Alright, I'm gonna let that start to simmer for a minute.
I can't believe you're putting onions in the cream chip beef. I'm afraid. Actually, if you wander through that fridge long enough, you're going to find that I bought some backup cream chip beef.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So normally, in fact, I think we've talked about this before.
Why?
That we usually buy like the pre-packaged, it's like in some yellowish orangish packaging cream chip beef, but I know that there's a local place called Byler's near us that actually like slices it.
Huh.
So I actually got fresh sliced cream chip beef. Pay a little extra, got a little more quality.
Show that up to the camera there, the cutting board camera, and let people see the beef that we're talking about here. Look at that. That is as fresh as it comes.
I know. So they sliced in front of me. I went way overboard with it originally.
Is it corn? It's corned beef, right?
No. It's not corned beef. It's a type of dried beef.
That's it. Dried beef. That's right.
Yeah, it's a dried cured beef. And so I went a little overboard. The ladies that I was talking to behind the counter, I told them I wanted half a pound, and they laughed at me and said, "How many people would you like to feed?" And I was like, "I don't know, 2." And they then informed me that half a pound would probably feed over a dozen people. So this is not even half a pound. It's like 0.3 pounds.
That's a
and
lot.
it is way more than I needed.
Yeah, that is a real lot.
And I regret nothing.
Neither do I. I just hope that you're putting enough, of the cream part in that I can actually store this and have it tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's why I did a whole stick of butter. I'm just gonna make a big batch.
By the way, our one chatting human, fellow human, Frederick Navarro, has stated that he has never had cream chip beef.
Really?
At least not under that name. Maybe he knows it under another name. But interesting, huh?
I'm still burning. The other day, my wife and I up in New Hampshire, we went to a pancake house that is older than this country. And I gotta say, the pancakes were fine. The syrup was delicious. It was mostly a maple syrup farm. But they did not have cream chip beef. And the waitress had never heard of it.
Oh.
I guess it really is a southern thing.
Well, I mean...
Like an East Coast southern thing, too. I've never seen it on the West Coast of the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, I also did not look thoroughly, I guess you could say.
Right.
It's the biggest flour jar ever, John.
Yep. Well, we don't do anything small here in Texas. Ooh.
All right. I noticed with this flour jar earlier, there's this little heart in it.
Wait a minute, they cannot see the heart. I'm on the cutting board cam to look at the... there you go.
There's a heart in it, and it's like clay or something. I'm assuming it's for making sure that it keeps it not moist.
Right?
All right, so usually my grandfather would simmer this for a little while, and what you want is for that minced onion to start to almost disappear into the butter. So it's not going to end up being much actual onion. In fact, if I do it right, you should barely be able to tell that there's onion even in it.
Okay.
It is for a background flavor, just to give it some more depth,
Uh-huh.
but it is not really for an onion flavor specifically.
Gotcha.
But white onion adds like some nice sweetness that I think sometimes I forget how sweet a white onion is. I actually never buy Vidalia onions. I don't care for how sweet they are. Like I do want some root onion backbone to my flavors.
I thought you said the deli onions. You said
Vidalia.
Vidalia. That's
They're like the yellowish sweet
yes,
onions?
the ones from Georgia.
Yes, I don't much care for them.
Okay. Well, that's what I just gave you, isn't it, a Vidalia?
No, you gave me a little white onion,
Did it? Okay, good. All right.
which is perfect. The smaller ones tend to be a little stronger too. Personal opinion. I don't have a scientific study to back that up, but whatever. But fight me about it.
No. I'm not going to argue with you in any way, shape, or form.
Well, that's just boring.
No. You know what I've just noticed in the wide shot? I'm going to need your opinion
Go on.
in a moment. You need to come over here and look at what is that, honey?
What is that hanging on? It's a lobster. This is a lobster.
That is a lobster. It's not what it may appear to be on your screen right now. I don't think they make copper molds. Well, maybe they do make copper
I
molds.
guarantee they do, John. Come on. If you have the
Wow,
internet, you can find anything.
From that shot, clearly that is a bridal part. What do they call it?
Yeah, bridal shower? No, bachelorette party.
Bachelorette party. That's it. That's a bachelorette party mold if ever I've seen that. The green chip beef thing. I keep going to. You know why? Because you're making chip beef, and I click the button that says chip beef.
All right, so usually I'll lightly pepper the butter as it sauteing. I want to start with some slightly cooked pepper in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll pepper throughout lightly. as opposed to just at one time. And it looks like our onion is almost there. The cream chip beef, it does come, or at least this kind comes in big slices. I think they pretty much all do.
Right.
So I'd just give it a little dice. Honestly, I think cream chip beef is one of the easier things to cook, even if you aren't really much of a chef. You'll note that at no point during this will I measure anything.
I will acknowledge though that you did wash your hands.
I did wash my hands multiple times. And then I used the bathroom just to make sure they were clean.
Yeah. Because you don't want to use the bathroom with dirty hands.
I don't know. Have you ever walked into a bathroom where you actually felt like you needed to wash your hands before you use the bathroom after touching the handle?
I'd like to say yes.
I have definitely experienced that. I don't much care for it.
But I've always wondered the importance of especially for a man doing the number one style, the importance of washing after. I would think it'd be much more important to wash before. And maybe after, if you felt decent spray. But,
I think both.
Yeah, I think before you touch the device.
Also, contrary to popular belief, urine's not sterile. I don't think this is normally a fun fact that you'd hear in a cooking show.
No, normally not. Let's discuss urine some more, Dave.
But it is most decidedly not sterile, as is popularly said.
So what about the TV shows and the movies where people drink the urine?
Oh, it's not really going to hurt you. I mean, odds are it's not going to bother you. In fact, if you're in a survival situation, the rule is one pass. You can drink the first pass of your urine, but you cannot drink the second pass because then it's too concentrated and that's bad for you. Once again, fun facts you don't normally get in a cooking show.
Thank you, because I was planning on being stranded from a plane crash, so I somehow survived.
Yeah.
With my soccer ball.
Wilson!
Now I'm going to name mine, I don't know what I'm going to name mine. What would I name my soccer ball friend? I would name him...
You would name your soccer ball friend Yes.
No. Getty. I'd have to name him Getty.
Getty of Lee fame?
Yes, Getty of Lee fame. Because I'd want to... If I were stranded on an island, I'd like to...
Yeah.
I'd like to have conversations with Getty.
Alright, so the butter starts bubbling here, and you can see that the onions themselves have started to just take on a little golden color. You don't want to actually brown it fully, but this little golden color is just about where I want it.
You should drag that pan over to the can a little bit there.
How's that?
There you go.
So the butter will bubble like that. The onions themselves a little brown. So now I'm going to add an amount of flour.
An unknown amount
an amount of flour.
Until it looks rightish.
Yeah, I would guesstimate between a quarter and a half a cup is probably about right. And then it'll start to make a bit of a paste. This is, I don't know, I guess I could almost add an egg and make the base of a choux pastry if I wanted to. It'd be a rather savory choux pastry, that's for sure, but, I mean, who knows? I bet there's choux. You could make savory choux pastry.
I am going to take your word for it, because I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll say this. Eric has chimed in. Meanwhile, he's ready to put pork chops in a pan, and ENDIVE, potato mash, in another one, because it's late afternoon, where Eric is. Endive, what is that, endive potato? Endive?
I don't know, I'll have to go look. Give me a second.
Yeah. We'll ask computer. What's endive potato?
Here's something I found on the web. According to themarthablog.com, endive has a crisp texture and a sweet, nutty flavor with a pleasantly mild bitterness.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Martha Stewart.
I don't think that was Martha Stewart.
It was from themarthablog.com, so I guess it could be another Martha, but I'm going to thank Martha Stewart anyway. Because without Martha Stewart, there'd be no other Martha.
I don't think that's true, but I can't prove it's not.
Yeah. I win. You've
I
moved
think
my side light there, sir.
I've moved your side light.
Yes, it is glaring into the camera like this one. Down a little bit. Thank you, sir.
Did I do it?
Yeah, it did it.
I did a thing?
Did it thing.
I do love ribs. When I was passing through Texas, my sister-in-law and her boyfriend live in Austin. And so my sister or my wife and I went and visited them, and as we were driving through Texas, every time we stopped for barbecue, I got barbecue pork ribs because I think consistency is how you go back and forth between deciding who has the best of something, right? Like you can't go to different barbecue joints and grab different foods and then actually compare them. It's not fair. So if they had banana pudding, I always got that. I got the pork ribs, and there was a place. I wish I knew remember the name of it. There was a place in San Antonio that my friend Andre actually brought me to that ended up having my favorite pork ribs. I could look them up. I'm not gonna. I just wanted you to know I could.
Okay. I believe you. Yeah, man. Just to summarize, in case you just popped in, this is a music reaction channel.
Not
However-
today.
However, we've long discussed the attributes of cream chip beef and its ability to enhance your listenability to great classic music. And so cream chip beef is sort of a theme. In fact, all of our videos are sponsored by generically cream chip beef.
We use the term sponsored loosely.
Sponsored loosely, yeah, as no one pays us. If they did, it would say a brand cream chip beef.
Yeah, you're right.
Wouldn't, even if it was like Bob Evans cream chip beef, which I don't think they even offer.
I don't know. Bob Evans cream chip beef is mildly flavorless anyway, so.
Oh, you have had it?
Yes.
Okay.
I've had cream chip beef at far too many places. I probably should admit how many places I've had cream chip beef at, if we're being honest.
Okay. Well, I recently had it somewhat local to me here, which I figured if you're here long enough, Mr. Dave, today, maybe we can have lunch over there and have cream chip beef because it's breakfast all day.
Yeah, I do love. Man, I think breakfast is my favorite meal.
Well, it's usually an easy meal to prepare for all the flavor you can get out of it. It's usually a pretty quick and easy meal.
All right. Next up,
What do we got?
we're going back to heat because we're starting on the milk.
Milk, heat.
As usual, step one: sniff your milk.
Sniff your milk.
It's Dave's tip of the day: always sniff your milk.
Endive is related to chicory, a bitter vegetable. I use it raw and finely cut up in the mesh. I think you meant that. Interesting.
You have a very full fridge, John.
I do. I'm very fortunate.
All right, I'm gonna turn the heat up now because we got our cold milk we just plopped in there, and then our roux is going to start to slowly thicken this sauce.
So you say roux, and all I can think of is Kanga.
Kangaroo. Yeah, roux
Winnie
is
the
also the
Pooh.
roux is the name of the baby kangaroo, I think, on Winnie the Pooh.
Exactly.
More pepper, and once I get the milk in, is usually when I will add a dash of salt, but not a ton because your beef is where most of your salt content's going to come from.
Right? I'll salt mine when it gets to the table.
Yep. I always err on the side of under salt with the belief that people can add more salt. The actual chipped beef. Oh, yeah. And now, we're just going to sort of cook it down, making sure nothing sticks. This is probably going to be about 10-ish minutes.
Maybe we should review a song while we do this.
We'll only review songs you sing live.
Okay. Is this a New Hampshirean dish?
No, absolutely not. As far as I know, it's a southern dish, though I do not know the history of cream chip beef. So I don't know. You know, that's like a thing that I should have known, really.
Yes,
You'd think with my obsession with cooking it and eating it, I would know the history of cream chip beef. I'm kind of upset at myself right now.
Computer, what's the history of cream chip beef?
Here's something I found on the web. According to SouthernLiving.com, originally made popular in the early 20th century by the U.S. military for its ability to quite literally feed an army, cream chip beef on toast eventually began making an appearance at breakfast time on many Southern family tables.
Oh,
Okay.
we got a little history.
Did not realize it was military-centric.
Yeah.
pockets on an apron are a little weird, but kind of into it.
I would think
Kinda
convenient,
into
darn
it.
convenient, sir.
Yeah, but like I'm not gonna put my dirty
I've
spoon
got,
in my
look,
pocket.
I have pockets too.
What do you, I mean, I guess if I'm grilling, you could know, because
Well,
once you use a grilling utensil.
Dave, there's a side benefit.
A pocket? Keep your hands warm?
My pockets are lower than yours.
That's fair. These pockets are very deep, actually. I'll lose my arm in this sucker. So, my grandfather always liked to do his cream chip beef on English muffins.
Oh, okay.
I, on the other hand, don't care for English muffins.
Right.
So, my preference is white bread, but I do prefer like a white Italian bread. This happened to be whatever brand that Byler's had.
Fair enough.
I'm not certainly not pitching a brand. I think any. I prefer to make sure there's no sesame seeds on it.
Right.
I don't care for sesame
Well,
seeds in
I
my cream chip
actually
beef.
like just plain, like the plainest of Wonder Bread, the square. Not even like the curved top Wonder Bread.
Really?
I like the square Wonder Bread.
How big is this toaster?
It only does two at a time. Then.
All right.
Toaster is a mini toaster for the mini that I am. Once was.
All right.
Not as mini as
As you used to be,
I once was.
or as you'd like to be.
Yeah, right. Oh, we have Stacy on. Stacy says she grew up in Louisiana and ate this her whole life, hasn't had it in years, and now she wants it. That's how it works. That's right. We're crack dealers now.
You know what's terrible is I haven't had cream chip beef since yesterday, and I'm still ridiculously excited to eat it. My cream chip beef yesterday, I went out with a mutual friend of ours, actually, and I gotta say, my cream chip beef yesterday, I was very disappointed. It was not... Normally, we go to this same place. This is like this little diner in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it just did not have the normal flavor. I don't know what was up with it, but texture was right, amount of beef was right, flavor was just off. Also, the toast felt stale. Like, you know how you have to really like push through toast sometimes if it's stale? It tasted that way instead of like crunchy toast.
Ah, okay. Well, that's sometimes a sign, in a restaurant, when their food changes like that, that's sometimes a sign that things aren't going well and they're not able to purchase as they once could.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That place was on Kitchen Impossible one time.
That's true, it was. Eric says American bread contains way too much sugar.
Agreed. Do you know in Ireland, Subway can't even call their bread because it's closer to...
You have to call it pastry?
I don't know what they call it, but I know it can't legally be called bread because it's so sweet.
Oh, and I missed something. Roux, R-O-U-X. Oh, that's that how you spell roux? Roux with milk is called bechamel. Bechamel?
Huh.
Again, I don't know how to pronounce that. He's speaking that French.
Yeah, a roux is just generally used as a thickener for gravies. You can often use them if you're making your own gravy for like Thanksgiving. Take out all the turkey.
I've never heard the term roux, I guess. Of course, I grew up in a home that I thought all vegetables came from cans.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
They came, out of dirt and farms and stuff, and actually had a fresh and decent flavor to them.
That's pretty bad, John.
I'm sorry. Mom's not listening. I don't think Mom's listening. Anyway, Mom's not listening, so sorry, Mom, if you someday hear that. But she's much better now. She knows all about fresh and frozen vegetables.
So one of the things I like about the little town my wife and I have been living in for the past couple of months is that every Thursday they have a farmer's market. So I go down there, and of course it's New England, so they usually have a fishmonger, so you can get a ton of local fish that just got caught oftentimes the day before, and then get a ton of local veggies. And I love doing that stuff because then you end up eating whatever happens to be growing right then.
Oh.
And so it sort of changes a little bit of your diet because you're trying to stick with whatever you can buy then. So it forces you to not make the same dish over and over again. You have to pivot with whatever happens to be there.
Gotcha. I guess it would also help you identify what foods work with your digestive system. What foods don't.
That is true. All right, I usually bring it up till you just start to see some gloopy bubbles, and I like this. See, you've got this thick bloop, bloop, bloop.
Drag it over to the cam again, because some of the...
I'm going to take it off the heat. See, it's got this thick bloop, bloop,
look
bloop.
at that.
Yeah, so it's just starting to thicken up. I generally don't like it too much thicker than this because the problem is once you serve it, as it cools, it's going to thicken even more on the plate.
Sure.
So you don't want to go too thick. But I will, once I get to this point, I'll generally add my last dash of pepper. I don't know if you've noticed, this is probably the 4th pepper addition that I've done. I've done it throughout the cooking process. So we have some flavors that are like fully developed cooked pepper, and we have some of that fresh cracked pepper on top. Fresh cracked pepper? That sounds awful.
Yeah. Maybe it should have quit while it was ahead.
Oh, it's so dumb. I love it.
Yeah. Stacy says roux is best in gumbo.
Okay, yeah. I have to be careful with what gumbo. I have a shellfish allergy, so a whole lot of gumbos have shrimp, stuff like that in it. So I don't eat a ton of gumbo, but I've also had some gumbos that are far more of your just pork sausage and stuff like that in them. I think a lot of these dishes, especially gumbo, is to me one of those, like, I'm going to look through the fridge and I'm sort of going to see what stuff I have left over from the last couple of meals, dice it up and throw it in and call it a gumbo.
Right, which I tried to do today, but it ended up being more a refrigerator rescue situation.
Yeah, I walked in and there was just like an old sausage sitting in a container on the counter.
It was walking, it was wandering around the container just a little bit. So yeah, in fact, and I love it, you know, we all know about mystery meat, and one of the containers in there, I couldn't identify what it once was.
I have very recently, as of last week actually, had pork roll for the first time. I was visiting some friends in Jersey, and they took us to their favorite breakfast sandwich shop, and they said you have to get a pork roll, egg and cheese sandwich. You have to get double egg because they put so much pork roll on it to get the percentages of your
Right.
ingredients in the correct
The
way.
balance, yeah.
You got to get double egg, and it was delicious. I think I prefer good bacon over a thick cut Jersey pork roll, but also I've had I'm sure we've all had it, the like super thin wispy bacon that you know they just ordered pre-cooked.
Yeah.
And I would take this pork roll over that style of bacon. It was definitely good. And then we came back, and there's a local place that does Taylor ham sandwiches, and I love their bagels. And so we took them there, and apparently I learned that there is quite the rivalry between what is considered pork roll and Taylor ham amongst the Jersey folk. I didn't know that existed, but it stirred up quite the ire of some of my Jersey friends to refer to Taylor ham. I think Taylor ham's just a brand of pork roll as far as I know.
You would think Pork Wars.
I guess.
It's the new reality show.
What a boring reality show.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and review a song while we're waiting for that to complete. Computer, play Prime Mover by Rush.
Prime Mover? I don't think I know this one.
Prime Mover by Rush from Spotify.
Just like look, I'm gonna now play our reaction opener. Look at this. This is what you just did. That is what you just did, man. That is exactly what you just did. Perfect.
All right, and there we
mine. Where's yours?
there we have it.
Okay.
It's in the toaster.
Yep. That can.
There we have it. Our cream chip beef is completed. I didn't bother to do any sides. Normally I'd love to make some hash browns with it or something like that, but potatoes take longer, and I was lazy.
Okay. And I can't stay out of the camera and eat it, so we're gonna have to eat it after we sign off.
Hold on. I gotta take a bite.
You're gonna take a bite? Oh, you're gonna let the people have your.
Yeah, I gotta react to my own food here. What
Sure you
if
do,
it's
I guess.
terrible?
Sure.
I don't know where your forks are though. I'm just gonna keep trying drawers.
Yeah, right. All right, Prime Mover. There you go. Everybody wanted to hear Prime Mover, so we did.
I'll have to actually give it a real chance at some point.
Come on, man.
All right.
You can get the lyrics on that one.
Cream chip beef. Little cut of toast here. Oh yeah, that's exactly as good as I remember it.
Wow.
Oh, the subtle sweetness and caramelization from the onions. The saltiness of the beef really shines through. That's why I put so little extra salt in it. And then, of course, you also have the pepper. And like I said, I highly recommend pepper beginning, pepper twice during cooking, pepper at the end. You've got this backbone of pepper that's subtle in the back end of your mouth, but then you've got the regular pepper, just like you would sprinkle it on yourself at the end. Fantastic, John. I haven't made that in years, and I pulled it off.
Yes,
I'm
you
very happy
did.
with how that turned out.
Yes, you did.
So thanks so much for watching. If you have any suggestions, clearly I cook. I don't live near John right now, but I'll be back in town for actually most of December. We'll be back hanging out again, so we will gladly do this again. I'd love to try dishes I've never made before.
Okay.
This is definitely my wheelhouse. I've made this a lot of times in my life. As much as it's not been recent, I don't even know how many times I've made this. In fact, when my grandfather passed away, I actually made a giant batch of this, and then ended up like going to all of my friends, and in sort of my celebration of my grandfather, we would sit down and we would eat his version of cream chip beef, and I would tell old stories of growing up with them and things I learned from them. And so I really am into celebration of life kind of things as opposed to funerals. I think
Sure.
funerals are terrible. I don't care to go to them. So, I think this recipe will always have a very special place in my heart for me. So, absolutely delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and go get yourself some food, because as you, I'd be hungry right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, Dave.
Yeah?
Catch you on the flip side.